Alright, we got the tech armor on, we got the hammer charged. Testing 1, 2, 3, it works. Headbutt cancel it, that's my brother Marcus, and go! What's up guys, this is Neightrix. Got another Mass Effect 3 video for you. Definitely shorter than the last one, which I think is a good thing, and I usually go back and watch videos that I make 2 or 3 times, and if I could sort of describe the last commentary I did in Mass Effect 3, it would probably sound something like, yeah, so what you want to do is, when you use the Paladin, you want to use Snap Freeze, and then use Incinerate if they have a shield, and use Incinerate if they don't have a shield, but then do the, yeah, super nerd mode. And that's, I think I can draw a very large contrast between that, the N7 Paladin gameplay, because it is a little more of a technical character. Even though it is considered a sentinel, it's sort of an understanding that he's really just an engineer. Like, I don't know why, like, yes, he has a shield, but he's not really a sentinel. Let's be honest with ourselves. And so, got the Krogan Warlord. I've been playing with him quite a bit, and to be completely honest, well, actually, no, I had a very specific order that I need to discuss things in. Okay, I'll be talking about the build after the gameplay. I got some footage where I just show you the build itself. And you're probably wondering, first of all, you see I have electric hammer there on the screen. I have it spec'd in. That's because I glitched my character to get electric hammer, because here's what happened. Okay, I respec'd this guy literally 3 or 4 times, in addition to promoting the Sentinel like 2 or 3 times to respec him, and I tried and tried and tried to find the best loadout for him, and I just said, you know what, this is not worth my time. I'm just going to do the glitch where I can have a little bit of everything, and then having played with him like as good as he can possibly be and have everything on, I literally still don't use electrical hammer. I don't, and I know there are beneficial things about it, and I'm certainly not going to try to suggest to you that my way of using the Krogan Warlord is somehow the right way or the absolute best way. But this is what seems to work the best for me, and it goes into a setup later on, and I have my setup at the end of the video. But essentially, you're going to want to max out your health and survivability, so max shields and health restoration in rage mode. And then max out your melee damage. That's the second most important thing. You want the melee damage bonus in, God, what is it? Tech armor, and then you want strength module, or strength enhancer 3, what is it? Hydraulic joints. I think, you know what, I'm going to go into the equipment a little bit later and you'll see what I'm talking about. But essentially, at this point, in my attempt to communicate to you in what way it's best to use him, I have to say, it's very, very difficult to justify playing against anything other than Geth, or I can't justify recommending it to you. I can certainly see how, if you know, for instance, at what points a Banshee will attempt to grab you, how to avoid getting grabbed by other certain characters, but I feel like if you're going to play a different faction, the Warlord is not going to be the easiest to use, or the most fun, or the most effective, and you can run gold on him, as you see here. Like, I go down a couple of times during this match, but it is stupid fun. Like, you just run in. Like I said, it contrasts very profoundly with the Paladin gameplay, where rather than having a strategy and using your powers in a particular manner, you're just running around hammer smashing everything. This guy is built to run around and kill everybody in a single hit, and it's a lot of fun. And I think that if you're not, well, it's not I'm not really trying to lecture anyone, but I think if you're not playing to have fun, especially in a cooperative multiplayer mode, that Geth done came to the wrong neighborhood. Let's be honest about that. That Prime didn't even have a chance. And that's where the fun comes in, is the Prime is the one boss in the game where you can run up to him. You don't have to worry about being sync killed at all. You can just about be, I'm not going to say you can be completely lazy with this character, but if you know what you're doing and you're paying a little bit of attention, it's not that difficult to do really well. As I miss another hammer smash. You guys haven't, if you've seen other Warlords in lobbies and you're like, man, this guy is running around just hammer smashing the ground and not hitting anything, that's what you're going to come across most of the time. So hopefully this video will prevent you from being like that, even though I am not the ultimate example, as I get a double kill there, of how to use this correctly or appropriately, however you would like to describe it. And I sort of feel like it's not really, I'm not trying to blame anyone, but I don't think that it's right that the Warlord can get sync killed by, for instance, a Phantom or a Brute. I realize Brutes are quite large, but it's like, man, can they really pick me up and slam kill me instantly? I don't think that's quite fair. So I think they should have, well, from a programming perspective, I don't know what BioWare could have done differently, but In an ideal situation, I would say that you wouldn't be able to get sync killed by phantoms, you wouldn't be able to get sync killed by brutes. Essentially, the only thing I could see in an ideal situation that can sync kill you would be Praetorians, first of all. That makes sense. Probably Atlases too. They are quite big in their machineries. And so maybe Scions as well. I'm a little skeptical, but I think that should be it. Like, otherwise, you're gonna have trouble. You're gonna have trouble killing things with this guy, because every other faction has at least a couple of boss enemies, or they have a couple of enemies that can sync kill you, whereas the Geth just don't. And that's part of the reason that I'm suggesting you really should only play against the Geth. Now, I'm running 200% recharge speed, and I only shoot one shot in the entire game, and I kill a Geth trooper with it, and that's it. You may be wondering, why are you using the Disciple? That gun is... Nobody uses the Disciple. It's not good. Well, it's the lightest shotgun, and honestly, I've built this guy to where you don't use your gun. I have the lightest shotgun, and I have the Omni Blade attachment because it multiplicatively increases your melee damage, whereas the melee stunner and other melee enhancers of that nature only apply. See, there's the one, there's the one Disciple kill I just happened to get done. But the thing is, you want to keep yourself in rage mode, so you're going to want to be using the hammer a lot. That rage mode is all kinds of awesome. It's health regen, it's increased melee damage. The health regen is really the most important factor, and every 45 seconds you have to have killed 2 enemies. Unfortunately, the Geth, what is it, the combat drone and the Geth turret, they don't count from the primes, so you have to kill the regular enemies. But essentially the way it's set up now, if you will kill everything in one hit. Biotic Hammer will kill everything in one... Oh man, look how fast that prime went down. And if you liked that, this one's gonna go down just about as quickly. You done came to the wrong neighborhood. That's what I like to say in that situation. And it's almost... You know, it's not unfair, because there's a lot of characters that aren't very good on gold. Actually, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but essentially, right here I've run out of rage mode, so I'm like, I'm gonna get this guy up, and then I'm gonna run to cover, because the health regen is so essential to staying alive. You want to run around and kill mooks, as the community likes to call them, as often as you can. And even if you're fighting a prime, it's usually beneficial to stop fighting him and turn and take out the pyro or the hunter or whatever is doing damage to you, because they all do about the same amount of damage to you, like DPS, damage over time. And pyros, they're particularly dangerous. And the primes, yes, they do a lot of damage, but they get stun locked by the hammer and stuff like that, so they're actually not as dangerous. It's really the drones that you'll have to worry about. But if you get up in their face, the drones will go down from the radial damage anyway, so it's not as though it's the big deal. But essentially, I tried several builds with this guy, and I just cannot find a use for electrical hammer. You cannot one-hit, and that's the thing, biotic hammer will one-hit everything. You get the fast recharge on biotic hammer, you have 2 charges, you're essentially going to be able to kill everything in one hit without having to wait for any sort of recharge. So that's going to keep your rage going longer, whereas if you're using guns, you're not getting the rage benefit. And it's just, and in addition to that, it doesn't really make any sense to me to play a character that's, it's just meant to be fun. Like, yes, he is very effective on gold, and you can use him because he's effective, but it's just, it's all about the fun, really. This is my personal opinion, my take on it. How viable this guy is on gold, or excuse me, on platinum, I don't know. I haven't actually, I don't think I've played him on platinum at all yet. I'm not a big fan of playing platinum anyway, because it's, you have to play more seriously, whereas I like gold because you can use any character successfully as long as you know what you're doing. So that's how I feel about that. So before I continue much further, let me reveal why I think that biotic hammer is not useful. First of all, you don't need to have to micromanage which charge you have going at any given time. Okay, the only time you're really going to use electrical hammer is to knock a boss's shield off. But I can't really recall a time in this game ever where I was like, man, this guy's shield or man, this guy's barrier just will not go down. It's the first part of their entire health bar. Like, it's gonna go away regardless. And it's, in addition to that, it's not as though the biotic hammer lacks power. Yes, the electrical hammer does significantly more damage to shields. And I missed. See, I did. You take half the shield off with but one biotic hammer hit anyway. The second one takes it the rest of the way off. Then you use the other 2 charges to kill him. So I just don't see the point of using electrical hammer unless the drones are just giving you all kind of trouble and you can't target them appropriately with melee, and so you need the AoE, the blast area damage from electric hammer to kill them on your own. I just can't justify it, even though I have it. And I have it spec'd into, and I'm just like, man, I can't see use for electrical hammer. I just can't. Maybe if you were doing some kind of tech detonation things going on platinum and you wanted to work that kind of stuff out. But really, if you're running platinum and you're doing it successfully, you already know what you're doing. So see, I didn't even have rage going, and I still killed the pyro in one hit with all the melee bonuses I have going. But essentially, if you're already playing platinum, it's not as though you need my advice anyway. So disregard that, and don't think for a moment that I think that I am somehow better than anyone else that potentially could be watching this video right now. What was the next thing? The only real thought process you're going to have to be going through with this guy is managing which scenarios you go into, like which groups of enemies you're willing to take on. In other words, if you've got two primes in the same place and they're both aggroed on you before you even get to them, probably not a good idea to rush, and probably need to go find some regular guys to kill. And you want to make sure you have your rage going, and then God, so much kill steal. So much kill steal. No, actually, I did get that kill. Never mind. Marcus didn't get it, but and it's not as though I care. Like, once both of us run up to hammer smash the prime, it's anybody's kill. Like, you don't even know who's going to get the kill. Like, I'll try to coordinate it to where I do the finishing move, but I'm usually not successful anyway. Or I probably usually do get it, but it's not as though it's completely decided by my intuition or ability to figure out when to hit him with the hammer. It's more so just running around smashing everything into pieces. Pretty much the only thing you're going to have to put thought process to, in addition to, you know, choosing your fights appropriately and choosing which enemies to go after, is how you're going to take out the prime. And there's several different ways to do it. You can do biotic hammer 4 times, and there's certainly nothing wrong with doing that. That might even be the fastest way, I don't know. Or you can actually lead in with the the sprinting heavy melee. I don't do it that many times in this video, but essentially when you're sprinting and you press your melee button, you do the regular Krogan heavy melee, and that'll take just a little bit off the top of his shields, enough to where you can lead in with that, do biotic hammer twice, charge the biotic hammer again, and then do the 3-hit combo, and that'll take him down as well. And literally the 3-hit biotic hammer combo, if they're 8, I think it's 8, you have 10 blocks of health, visible at the top of the screen, or not you, but rather the enemies do. If they have 8 blocks of armor or less, sometimes if it even indicates that they have 9, the 3-hit biotic hammer combo with all the melee bonuses you can get, you're going to take them down. Like, if you, of course, lead off with I'm at the end of the order now, like I was saying, lead in with the sprinting melee, 2 biotic hammers, then the biotic hammer combo thing. And you don't even really have to get it right. Strategize, how you can kill them fastest, most effectively. But it still doesn't really matter that much. You're smashing things with the hammer until they die. And the bombers can give you a little bit of trouble. Usually they won't. You want to try to maximize. That's one of the things that just takes practice, is maximizing your melee, heavy melee lunge distance, and getting that exactly just right. Something I definitely don't manage to do correctly right here more than once. And it's sort of embarrassing, but I'm not really worried about it. It's also sort of annoying that the hunters, you can't heavy melee them while they're invisible. I mean, you can, but you have to be, like, in position in order for the attack to work. And speaking of, that seems like a good time to lead into my little tips portion of the video. Not that I have anything super profound to say, but starting with that, if you'll notice, when I was fighting that hunter, is actually what it's called, Death Hunter, a moment ago, I was just a little short of the smash range where I would kill him instantly, and right there, see me lock on and get the kill done. But if they're a little bit too far away, it doesn't work. But if you'll notice, if you're very, very close to an enemy, even if you don't lock onto them, the hammer will still hit. And it's sort of deceiving the way they have it working. Not that I'm saying it's, morally objectionable or technically incorrect the way they have it set up. But the explosion from your hammer, you see it on the screen when you hit the ground, the biotic hammer, heavy melee attack, that is not the actual point at which the AoE blast takes place. Believe it or not, it actually takes place somewhere around your feet. In other words, in the center of your character, where you're centered on the ground. That's why you can walk past an enemy, and they can be literally behind you, meleeing you in the back, and the biotic hammer will smash their stupid face in. And so, if you come across a Geth Hunter in that situation, or you think you can be useful otherwise, and even if there are two enemies and you want to target the one that's a little further away, the one that's closer to you, to your body, your feet or whatever, it'll take the hit too. And so, knowing that can give you a little bit of, I want to say advantage. I'm not sure if that's the appropriate word to use in this case, but I'm going to go ahead and stick with advantage. And there's really, I mean, other than knowing when the sync kill enemies can sync kill you and being smart about where you are, there's not a whole lot of difficulties using this guy. I remember I played Gold the first time I used this guy, and I ended up in a game by myself, and then at one point I had one other guy with me who was awful, but I just happened to be against the Geth, so I was still I still completed the thing by myself. I wasn't even planning on it's not really a solo, I'm going to say semi-solo. I don't know if that's a technical term anyone's used so far. I semi-soloed Gold. Yeah, well, that doesn't sound impressive at all. So, I'm off topic. Gonna get back on topic. AoE blast from biotic hammer and electrical hammer happen at the middle of your body, not at the end of your hammer. Use that to your advantage. Okay, moving on to the next one. Something you've probably seen me do a few times in the video thus far is when you imbue your hammer with a power, you can immediately cancel the animation, you know, where he reaches his hand back and imbues biotic power into the hammer. You can cancel that animation by pressing light melee, and then after you... this is embarrassing, I missed this prime like twice. That's so bad, so bad. You can cancel that light, so you do the biotic hammer charge, and then you cancel it with light melee, but then you can actually cancel the light melee with sprint, so you can just boom, 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 and just keep on sprinting wherever you're going to kill guys. Every little bit helps. Oh, you done came to the wrong neighborhood. That prime got totally obliterated. That was awesome. You get two guys with hammers in here, everything will get destroyed, and that may be something that you could potentially do on Platinum. I don't know how well you can funnel enemies on some maps, but I don't know, you could maybe have two of these guys killing dudes and then a Volus behind them, just giving them their shields back. I was going to put some other weird combination of words in there that wasn't about to make any sense. But basically, it's just, in my opinion, not a difficult character to use, but for the lack of difficulty, it's so fun, as I've obviously previously mentioned more than once. Now, I do have a second gun in this video, and it's the Acolyte. I find myself using the Acolyte on just about every character, and by just about, I mean like everything except the N7 Destroyer, because you just want the two heaviest, most badass weapons you can put on the guy. And so, I have the Acolyte. I don't actually pull it out in this gameplay, but I could definitely see perhaps softening up primes from a distance if it's an unfavorable situation for you to walk into. And and here I am trying to talk about how to make sure you're gonna approach primes safely, and we just sort of run up to them and destroy them. But the Acolyte is there if you need to strip shields from a distance, and if you don't have a... this is just another weird moment where it's like, man, I'm just gonna walk in the middle of these guys and biotic hammer them to death. They're stuck on the engineered decoy, and I haven't decided, off topic, I haven't decided yet whether I think the Solarian engineered decoy is, and right there I go down, Solarian engineered decoy is better than just having a Juggernaut on your team or not. I think probably having the Juggernaut's better. It's almost as though he's the replacement to the Solarian Engineer, the Juggernaut is, because he can just stand out there on his own. Anyway, and it's not a complete replacement, mind you, but that was an example right there of the thing still works, so you might as well use it if it's what you're into. And I don't know if you're aware of this or not, well, of course I have, alright, I didn't really finish my weapon setup, did I? And here I run out of the rage mode, so I go ahead and use the survival ops, because there ain't no way I'm standing between two primes. And here, I thought I was going to kill him with the biotic hammer combo, but I didn't quite do enough damage. I didn't have the melee damage bonuses going quite as much as I had anticipated, but got the Disciple, and I think I have, what is it? Obviously the Omni Blade. I think I have the damage barrel on there, extended barrel. I don't know what it's called for the shotguns, I'll be honest. And that hunter thought he could hide from me, but no. I played Halo 1. You cannot hide, no matter how invisible you are, you cannot hide from someone who has played Halo 1. Those elites in that game, very hard to see. If you can see them, you can see anything that's invisible. Just putting it out there. So my Disciple has, it's either the extended barrel or the lightweight mod. And I think I have 200% without the lightweight mod, but I think my Acolyte does have the lightweight mod and extended magazine, or magazine upgrade, I believe it's technically called in this game. And it's weird that they call it, I don't know, is it weird that they call it magazine upgrade? Upgrade, my tongue is not obeying my orders right now. Magazine upgrade, if it uses clips. Like, this is the only game that I have, other than World War II games where guns actually use clips to reload guns, where using the word clips is actually technically correct. So I don't know if they should call it a clip upgrade. They didn't really keep it consistent there, so I don't really know what to think about that. But we're on extraction, so this gameplay is starting to begin to come to an end. Geth bombers will destroy you if you're not careful, though. I feel safe saying that in pretty much every situation, you're better off not killing whatever you were going to kill and just getting out of the way of the bombs before you get completely destroyed. And it's a similar situation with the Juggernaut. Who can walk faster than this guy but can't sprint? That doesn't make any sense, but anyway, so essentially the gun setup is, and I was more specific there, but I'll break it down to you in the most simplistic form. You want the fastest recharge speed, which means 200% recharge speed, so you have the hammer constantly keep it charged for doing melee damage. And you'll want basically the lightest shotgun you can get. And I think I do get the combo I was doing earlier. I do it right now. Actually, I don't think it kills him. Oh, it doesn't get him. So yeah, go ahead and completely disregard the lead-in with heavy melee combo and that whole spiel I did a minute ago, because we just saw that doesn't work. Maybe if you have any teammates at all shooting at it, it would work. Or if you let in with the Acolyte, I'm sure it would work as well. But regardless, this gameplay's over. You want the 200% recharge speed to keep the things going, and you also want a shotgun Omni Blade. That's really the only requirements, technical requirements for making the melee build work correctly. And the Disciple is just about the only choice you have in regards to picking a light shotgun. I mean, there's a couple of others, the Eviscerator and the other one, the Scimitar. I guess those will work, and they're all not good enough to really worry about using, so it's not going to matter at the end of the day. So now we're going to get into the power setup, and obviously have it glitched. And for tech armor, you just want damage protection, extra melee damage, and then continuing the extra protection. And for body armor, you want to maximize the damage against armor, and then 2 charges. Pretty simple. And I'm just going to skip over electrical hammer because I didn't use it at all. You want the capacity, and you want the increased power damage. That'll make your biotic hammer stronger. Then you want to decrease the weight of shotguns. That'll let you run the 200% Omni Blade shotgun. Then for this, I went max health and shields, but then I also went, rather than the shield recharge speed, you see I went with the Martial biotic, or the Martial melee upgrade, whatever it's called, where you, and I don't know if it actually works or not, but I went with it because your shields are not going to have time to recharge anyway, so it's not like it's going to matter. For your what is it, equipment, the Juggernaut shield is okay. I personally think the hydraulic joints is going to be better, because the little bit of boost in shield you get is not going to matter. You're really relying on the health regeneration to keep you alive for extended periods of time. Then for your, what's the next upgrade? Normally you'd use a gun upgrade here. Use Strength Enhancer 3. It makes the most sense. Then for the ammo, we're not really going to be shooting much, so I don't know what you could possibly put on here that would really matter. I mean, obviously you don't want to use explosive rounds because those are garbage. You could use disruptor ammo if you're planning on using the Acolyte. And then finally, there's a lot of different options here for the powers. Adrenaline works just fine. Power amplifier module will give you a little bit more hits, more damage from your heavy melee. And then if you can't quite get the recharge time, you can certainly justify using the power efficiency module. There's not really, I mean, other than taking the shield upgrades, which I wouldn't do, there's not a lot you could do wrong in the bottom left equipment category. Well, stabilization mod, obviously you don't want either. So what I just said is totally untrue, but essentially any of the power mods or the adrenaline mod, those all make sense. So that's my 2 cents. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about it. Please be sure to give it a like. Don't forget, I didn't get any likes last time. And I like those, even though it doesn't really matter, because I'm not like partnered or anything. And be sure to choose yourself some badass colors for this guy, because if you're running around with a pink Krogan, no one's going to take you seriously. Let's be honest. So, thank you guys for watching, and have a nice day.